DJI says that this camera hits 17 stops of dynamic range. I didn't believe it. Nobody should. These are the numbers that beat Ari Alexa. Except the independent lab actually tested it, and the numbers came back even higher than DJI reported it. So today I'm not reading you a spec sheet. I'm showing you what that number actually means. In this city, in real light, and this whole video is being shot on Pocket 4Ps. So the biggest update for this camera is that DJI decided to add the second lens. So now we have two lenses, 20mm equivalent f2.0 wide lens and the new 3x telephoto 60mm equivalent f1.8 lens. The two lenses are a little bit different. The wide angle is rocking the new 1-inch sensor, when the 60mm has a little bit smaller 1.28-inch sensor. Now that might not sound like much, however there is one big flaw that we'll talk about in a second. DJI is also praising their 12x digital zoom. It's not great, it switches between the sensors and you can see that switch when it's happening. The quality drops drastically and I don't really think that the footage is really usable when you're zooming in 12x. The 3x optical zoom is the real spec that matters. Before this, all DJI Pocket cameras used to punch in digitally, which you could tell really easily because the quality would drop instantly. This time we actually swap glass when we go from 1x to 3x zoom. And this is the only correct way to do it with these small sensors. Now the number that everyone is talking about, 17 stops of dynamic range. The Cine-D independent lab actually tested this theory and they came up with some wild results. 16 stops of dynamic range above the noise floor and 17.2 stops of dynamic range if you're being generous with the noise threshold. Their tester actually said that this is the best number they received from any camera. Full stop, not only Pocket cams. However, I should probably mention it, it's only on a wide lens in D-Log 2. It's a very new DJI's color profile, which is, to be honest, it's great. It grades itself basically. You can actually push the image and you get quite a bit of information in your shadows and in your highlights. And I think it's the peak DJI software at the moment. However, the D-Log 2 profile only works on a 20mm wide lens, which means that when you punch into your 3x telephoto zoom lens, you lose it. You get back to the D-Log profile, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but you can see a pretty drastic difference between the D-Log 2 and the D-Log. It's still easy to grade and to match the footage, however, it is a hassle. It's something that you need to think about when you're actually changing your focal length and shooting a project. Also, can we just quickly appreciate the DJI Mic Mini 2? How well does it sound even though I'm standing in traffic? Second catch. D-Log 2 has no auto ISO, which is not bad for us creatives and everyone who actually knows how the settings work and how to control the light that your sensor gets. However, this is not a point-and-shoot mode, which means that you need to control your settings, you need to bring your ND filters when you're filming outside. If you just want to vlog your travel and then just slap a LUT on a D-Log profile later on in editing, you need to be cautious when filming on D-Log 2 because the exposure will change and it's not gonna automatically adjust it. Pocket 4P now offers 240 frames per second in 4K. However, there is a catch. It's only on the wide lens, which means that 60mm is capped on 200 frames per second and D-Log 2 is capped on 4K 60. The new AI tracking is also great. It locks on your face, it locks on a building, it locks on a moving car, it doesn't matter where, and it just does not lose it. It's just great, there's not much more to talk about it, to be honest. The very good thing about Pocket 4P is that it comes with a built-in storage. You have 103 gigs of internal storage already inside the Pocket 4P. And for people like me who just hate the hassle of SD cards, swapping them, having SD card for every single camera that you own. It's annoying, and I will always forget them. So I really love the idea that the new cameras are now coming out with internal storage, which basically removes the stress of SD cards, because 103 gigabytes in 4K 60 D-Log2, you can still shoot over an hour, so you will kill the battery first before you kill the storage. The vlog combo of this camera comes with an interesting add-on. It's a joystick. It looks cute, it feels premium, however, the joystick doesn't do anything that the phone app does better. So yes, it's a nice add-on, I guess, if you don't want to keep taking your phone out and, you know, using your Mimo app, but they solved the problem that they didn't have. In the vlog kit, they also add the DJI Mini Mic 2, so you can record your talking head video straight out of the box. So what is the verdict? Well, the telephoto lens is where this camera earns the price difference between the Pocket 4. Having two focal lenses in such a small pocket-sized camera is very important and a very useful feature. Of course, if you're gonna push this camera into low light, that smaller 1.28 inch sensor loses the quality pretty fast. But let's be realistic, we're not buying pocket-sized cameras to replace our Cineline lenses and Cine glass. This camera is not meant to be used in some extreme low light scenarios, and it's not meant to work like a cinema line camera. It is a very small sized camera, and having access to these type of features literally in your pocket, it's pretty damn impressive if you ask me. So is Pocket 4P worth it over the standard Pocket 4? Well, if you're shooting portraits, interviews, or anything else where the second focal length is useful, then yes, 100%. Now if you're just vlogging wide, walking and talking, Pocket 4 is completely great option for you. And I doubt that you will actually be diving deep into the settings, into D-Log2, into the telephoto lens. If you're just vlogging, if you just want to capture your travel or capture your day in a life, and you're not trying to be filmmaker-esque. I think Pocket 4P is extremely useful for us professionals, for us content creators that actually dive deep into color grading, into settings, and wanting our footage to look the best possible. So where does this leave us? The wide-angle lens actually is one of the best pieces of glass that DJI has ever put into their products, especially in something this small. The telephoto lens being held back by the simple D-Log is a bit annoying, but let's be honest, you cannot expect it to be all-around perfect. So yes, it's not a perfect camera, it has its own flaws, but take a step back. We're talking about the camera that fits in your pocket, costs £529, and is competing with mirrorless cameras. It's been your boy Elvis Creative. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like the new DJI Osmo Pocket 4P as much as I do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Antes yo no tenía nada, ahora me sobra el dinero. Antes yo estaba en la cola.